Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Enlightened Hairstylist podcast. I am your hostess, Jacqueline Rodriguez, and I have Annissa Poole back on the show this week, and I'm so excited to talk to her. We had such a great first episode that we wanted to continue that conversation all about creating a sustainable experience for your guest, because this is what Anissa's amazing at and something that I'm truly passionate about. So let's go ahead and bring up. Hello and welcome back.
Hello. So good to see you again.
I know. Again, yes. Well, and that's the best part is there's so much we can talk about that we just keep going.
Love it.
So I can't remember exactly where we left off on the last one, but I know that we were talking all about how important it is to have the right thoughts, the right energy around sustainability in this salon. And you have created a beautiful experience in your salon, and I have created a great experience around sustainability. So let's just go ahead and dive in. Tell us a little bit about your experience for your guest.
Yeah, well, I think it really starts on like kind of your marketing and introducing that to your guests through your social media, through your website, so that they know what to expect and so that you can attract those kinds of people who are going to enjoy that experience. So I think it really starts with figuring out really what your key points of sustainability are in your salon and expressing that through your brand, through your videos, Instagram posts, and then just about your salon on your website and things like that. So I think that's really like the first key step. Sometimes people will read the website thoroughly, sometimes they won't. Sometimes people find me specifically because of my like green policies, but sometimes they don't know much about it and they just liked the work that they saw. And so then I get to kind of introduce that to them when they come into the salon, and that's always really exciting, especially if they are kind of friendly minded. And so we kind of start the conversation. It's like, oh, okay, no, you also try to avoid plastic too. Great. Here's what I do at the salon. So when I'm first bringing people in, I talk to them about what kind of products they use. That's something that's, I think, really important to start with in the consultation, get an idea of their lifestyle. I mean, we could go on a whole thing about just consultations in general, because those are super important.
That's a whole nother podcast.
It's a whole other thing. But, I definitely like to touch on what kind of products they're using. And so as we're talking, I've really tried to align with brands that work really well, but also have sustainable packaging. So I will say, this is the product I would recommend you for these key benefits that it's going to provide for your hair. For example, you said you needed more volume. This product is going to help provide you more volume. And as a bonus, if you'll notice, it's in this beautiful glass, packaging. You can get refills for it. So it's something that you can keep around on your shelves for a while. And they're like, oh, wow, yes, that is really pretty. I also do shampoo bars and conditioner bars. So that's something that's really fun to introduce to clients who've maybe heard about them but don't know much about them. So I'm like, the shampoo you're using, if it's a professional brand, I might say, what you're using is great. However, if you are interested in trying something with, zero waste packaging, here's, an option to look at. And they're like, oh, like, are they good? And I'm like, actually, yeah, no, like I use these for my hair. And I think one helpful like key piece, if you're going to be introducing a product that might be a little bit strange, is to get reviews from your clientele, have a few people sample out the products, get feedback from them, and have that ready to go for your social media websites, or to, tell anyone who's interested in trying those, this is what my client had to say about that. She has a very similar texture to you, very similar, scalp problems. And then, really encourage them to give it a try for themselves. And then I think the second piece that's really important is I have a tutorial that I send to each of my clients who buy the shampoo and conditioner bars, explaining on video on my YouTube channel, like how to use this product, because it is a little bit different. And so I think if you have anything that is a little bit or different or strange, having a video, audio, like visual way of showing that to them so that they don't feel totally lost when they take this product home and they're like, okay, I don't remember. I have no idea what I'm doing with it.
I actually really, really love that. I had created some PDFs and I was going to create the video. So I love that because then they get to see it. But I also have a PDF that works beautifully because then it gives them steps and they can either print it and put it with it, or they can just pull it up with themselves. But all of the products, when we're talking about sustainable, it is a completely different mindset around it. And when we're teaching our guest like what the difference is, because I don't know about the about your products, but like sometimes you don't get the same suds that you do with a normal shampoo, and it's good because that means there's less toxins and all that good stuff in it, but it's something you have to prepare for. So being very, very specific about what to expect is going to help them, and it's going to help you further down the line as, the hairstylist trying to change over to new things, especially like if you're taking on a whole new product line, starting off with that so that your guests can actually benefit from you learning as well as they are. So I think that that's really just a great way to do it. And there was something else I was going to say about that too that just totally went out of my brain. That's okay.
We can circle back to it if it comes back.
Sure.
But I think with having a PDF, having a video, whatever you choose to do, I think it's really important to have some sort of resource to give to your clients for them to, like, I guess, take home in their email, or if you have it physically printed out for them, because that really keeps up that relationship and that communication in between visits. And I think that's a piece a lot of people don't put enough focus on, is we think, okay, we are creating an amazing experience right here while they're in their chair, but we forget about pre and post visit and the in between.
Yes.
But it's super important. I think that's what sets a stylist apart from not just focusing on them when they're in their chair, but how that looks like, the relationship looks like in between.
Well, and that's a very good point, because I know traditional marketing, you're like, okay, well, they have my card and they're looking at or like a magnet. I'm probably dating myself now, but where they used to do like cards as magnets.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at it all the time. You want to stay front of mind. And I think when we're thinking about the guest experience, when they're there, we give so much. Creating something that in between, one, that you don't have to put work in, like having to call them in between or email them, that it's already set up and it's on automatic. So you're making your life easier, and you're also enriching that experience for the guest. And each and every piece will make such a big difference that I think that also reminds them to tell other people about you. And when you're in their inbox and you're teaching them throughout, not just social media, but something specific to them about the products that you're doing, I think also is very, and I know with your PDF on sustainability, your ebook on sustainability, that too really helps enrich their experience in between, if they're looking to take on more of that maybe in their homes or other things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. My favorite, and the way I knew I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right, this is amazing, is one of my clients emailed me about a brand that she saw that used like sustainable packaging. It wasn't a hair care brand, it was some sort of like home goods kind of website. And she's like, hey, I just wanted to send this to you. This totally seems up your alley if you just wanted to check this out. And I was like, oh, yes. So she thought of me specifically when she saw that. And I was like, perfect. I've done it. I've succeeded.
Yeah, because that is, and it's very specific. That was the point I was going to make. It came back. The website, that first thing, because I don't know about you, but when I am looking to book any service, the first thing I do is check out their website and check out their social media.
Absolutely.
I want to see what they're about. So putting everything that you're doing, because a lot of the times I think as hairstylists, like we focus very much on just the hair and like the before and afters and, you know, what it looks like, which is good. We have to do that. It's, you know, they got to see our work. But what is your mission behind it? And like with you, you're all about sustainability. I focus a lot on non-toxic and sustainability. Having that front of mind where they see our passions and our mission in our website, in each social media post, and then they also get a chance to see the before and afters with the sustainable products. It just brings everything back into your ecosystem of what you're creating in your salon, and having that first top of funnel be the website, and then of course your social.
Yeah. Well, hello, Pepper.
Yes, my little puppy. She wants to say hi.
Yes, of course. Oh, hello.
Sorry for everyone who can't see, but that's the reason. You just got to go onto YouTube or onto the website so that you can see Nala.
Yes, so
it's
cute.
worth it, I promise.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes, and I think I know a lot of people struggle with creating captions and creating content, or they feel like they get stuck with that. And I think a lot of times it's because they don't expand past just the hair. Like there are other things you can educate your clients on, and there's other parts of your values and missions to kind of break up just talking about hair. Like hair's a part of it, yes, but it's so much more than that. And so, yeah, it's kind of boring when you're just scratching the surface with the before and the afters and just talking about educating about certain aspects of hair care. That's important, but that really is only one piece in the puzzle. And so I think I got more excited about marketing and creating content when I realized, oh, there's so much more I can incorporate into this.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be just hair. It doesn't have to be just talking about hair care, about blondes. I can talk about sustainability, my favorite products, you know, my mission, and it just creates this deeper connection, and it makes me feel like I'm being more authentic, which just makes it much more enjoyable when I'm sitting down and content batching.
Oh, for sure. And for people who are out there listening, and maybe you are struggling with social media, or maybe you're just starting out, or you're changing over to more sustainable, take the time to sit down and really look at what your mission. What is your mission? Like, what is your passion? And regardless of whether you're a stylist behind a chair, or if you have your own salon, or you're in a suite, it doesn't matter where you're at. Even if you are working under a commissioned salon, if you put together your mission behind your chair, trust me, your guests will feel that. And if you talk to your owner, or if you start, you know, adding things in, or even when you're just talking to your clients behind your chair, if you have a mission and that passion that sets you apart from the person next to you or from a different salon, it makes such a big difference, and it enriches that experience, because then you have something to connect to and you start attracting those people to you And they come not only because you do good hair, but because they stand with you in your mission and in your passion. And I think that's what I've seen is with my guests, being able to put that out on social media, but then the experience when they're there, talking to them more than we have to talk about hair and their, what they're doing with their hair and how we can help them, but get more personal with them on your mission statement, like where it is that you are so passionate about, because you may change somebody's mind, or they just might fall even more in love with you because you see the same way and feel the same way they do. I think that that's been a huge eye opener for me as I was creating this experience in the salon, not only for myself, but for my stylist, that when you connect on those pieces, and I have a different mission than maybe some of my other stylists, the salon has one, then each one of us have such a different look on it that they connect instantly with that.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of stylists out there that do amazing hair. You have to go beyond that, and you have to go beyond the surface of that. Because I don't think people come to me because I'm definitely not the most talented hair cutter. I'm not the best balayager. That's not what it's about, but I'm doing something differently and something unique and something that's niched down and something that they can't get anywhere else. And it goes beyond just your talent as doing the hair. It's, people talk about having your secret sauce. So sustainability, that's a big part of mine, because there's not as many stylists around here that are doing that. And even if they are, do they have the same passion, or do they have the same drive or reasons behind that they're doing those as I do? They might not. And so they're still going to attract a different clientele than I am.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful point. Regardless of whether they're doing the same thing or not, they come to us again for our own personal mission and passion. So we both love sustainability. Mine's a little different than yours. So even if we were literally beside each other, people would come to me specifically for my mission and passion versus yours. And they would go to yours versus mine. And there's so many people in this world, none of us are missing out. When we start looking and getting very specific on the website, the social media post, your emails, everything, when you put that mission and passion behind everything, then all of a sudden you're not wanting for any clients. They literally are coming and finding you and seeking you out. And it makes such a big difference. That's why it's so important to sit down and really look at what is it behind just doing hair that I'm passionate about, and write it out. Take some time to really dive deep, because then you can weave it throughout everything you're doing. And that guest experience, you weave it throughout the whole experience while they're there. And it just creates so much more of a connection between you and your guest.
Yes. And then it's also a referral strategy, really, is what it comes down to as well, because that client who sent me an email about the brand that they found that they thought I would connect with, I'm sure if she has friends who are like, oh, this is something, certain hair that they want, or they start talking about sustainable hair products, she's going to be like, oh, I know who you need to talk to. You need to talk to my girl, and let me get you set up with her email, right? So it kind of goes both ways with that. And if you are communicating that well with your clients, then they're able to, when they come across people in their daily lives and stuff who also align with that mission, they're going to refer those people over to you.
Oh, most definitely. And that is the best way to have referrals, because again, you're attracting the people who are already connected to that mission and that passion that you have. So having your clients understand that and referring over to you. And then when that referred guest comes over to your website and they look at it and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, she does Green Circle. I never can say their name right. I do. She
Just
does
recycling program.
Yes, the recycling program. That's amazing. It connects with them and it creates that bond before you even have a chance to talk to them. It creates that connection that they frankly cannot get anywhere else because you are putting that experience out everywhere.
Yes, exactly. Couldn't agree more.
And it's so much fun. It makes my day richer when I get a chance to go into the salon and I have people who are passionate about the same thing that I am. You talk to them and everything is just really easy and fun. And those are the people that you just laugh and have a great time. And then it comes down to the point where you don't have those people in your books that stress you out and are exhausting and you have to protect your energy around, because from the top of your funnel, you have made it very clear who and what you stand for. And it trickles down and it comes down to you end up making more money because you're attracting the right clients. You have so much fun. Like, I love my people. I love my guests because we do connect on such a deeper level than just hair. And I'm not talking personal, like I'm, hanging out, but we connect on things that are important in life, which just makes such a big difference.
Yeah, having those values lined up. And I would say for those, I know some people, I think I even struggled with this a little bit too. Like, gosh, I don't know what I want my values to be. I don't know like what my mission is. And for me, I think it just will start with something you can align with, and then start with that and just give yourself the freedom to dive deeper into that and to niche down as you go. I don't think you have to have everything figured out right off the bat. Definitely try to take general and kind of bring it in together a little bit more. But I remember even with my journey of sustainability and bringing it into the salon, I'm like, okay, I don't know how much I want to lean into this, into my marketing, because I don't know if this is going to attract the kind of clientele that I like to speak to. Because I'll say there are some people who are on the line of sustainability where there's other values that align really great. And then there's some where it's like, not maybe quite the person I'm wanting to attract. And so I was kind of nervous when I was first bringing that in. And so I just kind of dipped my toes in it and I kind of started giving it a little bit more. And now that I've been able to attract some people and I'm like, okay, no, as I'm getting more of those dream clients in, it's like, okay, yes, this lines up, this lines up, this lines up. It made me feel more comfortable to niche down. So I guess I just say that as, if you're feeling overwhelmed with where to start, just try and dip your toes a little bit, and you can always decide to change courses if what you're doing and those steps you're taking are not getting you where you want to be. And I think then you're going to have a much clearer vision just taking those couple steps.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I mean, even when I started, it wasn't like full on in. You have to take, and my mission before I started the non-toxic and sustainability was completely different. And it was more focused on just who I am as a person. I'm a very loving and caring person. And that's what I focused on. So when you came, like, you felt like family. That's where I started. So it didn't start with this whole big vision. I gradually went into that. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And when you're sitting down to look at your mission, it can be as simple as that you are just a caring and loving person, and that's who you want to attract. Make it simple for yourself, and just know that it will continue to evolve and to change, and you can start niching down, or you just get really clear on what that mission is. And, for us, it's more of the sustainability, but it doesn't have to be for everyone. And until you're ready for that to be a part of it, just pick one or two values, either loving and caring or something simple, and just focus on those. I think that will take a little bit of the stress off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because just like we kind of talked with our last conversation, starting with sustainability, like even just taking a couple steps into that. It's okay to just take a couple steps when you're looking at niching down or just getting more clear on what your vision is. You don't have to see it all right now. Start down a path, and then you'll start to feel if that's the right one for you or not. And as you go on, then more of the vision will come. And I'm sure in another year or two, I'll be even more clear on my vision, and even more so than I am now.
Yeah. And also, it's okay if you change. I can't tell you how many times I have started on something and I'm like, yes, this is what I'm doing. I love it. I start doing it. I'm posting it everywhere. And then like, wait, this is not what I signed up for. I don't really love the direction it's going. Here is your permission to just change it. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I know sometimes I'll get hyped up with like brands or certain types of services. I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be my new thing. Extensions, for example, extensions have blown up with hairstyles, right? So I was like, okay, I'm taking this class. I'm going to do like a photo shoot. Like this is going to be my thing. And I started doing it, and then things shut down. And I really, when I was out of the salon for 3 months, I really thought about it. I'm like, never mind. That's not what I want to do. We're just going to scrap that. We're going to stop doing any marketing towards that, and we're going to go more into the sustainability. And that's how I made my decision. So like, it's okay to change your mind. And not to say I won't go back to extensions one day. Maybe that will be a part of my journey in the future, but it just, when I really thought about it, it did not bring me the kind of joy. Thinking about going back into the salon, is that the kind of work I want to focus on? It's like, no, I really enjoy the highlighting. I'm really looking forward to providing more like wellness products, something more natural for my clients, something that's more focused on that part, especially since we are going to be creating a little bit more waste with all the disposable items we need to use to keep things cleaner, more sterilized, more, sanitized in the salon. So like, it's totally okay to change your mind at any point.
Yeah. And that's what I love what you brought up with shifting, and you can go back, or maybe you'll never go back to it. And either way, it's okay. I think that we get very, very caught up in I need to be perfect before I launch this, or I start doing anything around it. You don't have to be. Play around with it, have fun. And the other thing that you said was, what's bringing you joy? Sit down, and if you're having a hard time, like really focusing in on what that mission is for you, sit down and write out what actually brings you joy in the salon, in your personal life. Just write out what makes you happy that you could do day in and day out and you wouldn't get tired of. And honestly, in the very beginning, it was just being loving and having that type of relationship with my clients. That's what brought me joy. So that's what I focused on. Now it's a little bit different. I still have the loving and caring. I just get to keep getting clearer and clearer and clearer on my journey. And even 2 years ago, I wasn't really talking about energy work in the salon. I wasn't bringing it. It was a part of my life, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to bring it into the salon. Now I have been focusing on that, and I'm bringing on more and more energy work and healing types of services into the salon because, again, it brings me joy. So far, it's been great. But if I decide to change and take those up, then it means nothing about me. It's just a different direction that we get a chance to go in.
Yep, absolutely. And I think one more thing you can do if you're really trying to figure out your mission, who you want to see more of, I did like a little exercise where I wrote down all of like my favorite clients, the ones that I was like looking forward to seeing. And I was trying to see, okay, what are some of the similarities? And quite a few of them did have similarities in the type of work I was doing. Highlights, low maintenance hair color. So I'm like, okay, that's definitely where I want to focus. A lot of them were in the same age range. There were definitely a few outliers, and I realized what I liked about them was their personality, or that their values matched up. So maybe their hair wasn't necessarily that low maintenance, but we always had such a fun time in the salon. So just kind of like identifying what pieces that you like of clients and creating your experience to attract those qualities and those types of things you like to do, and just kind of multiply those people. So that's all you have in your chair.
I love that, because we can, and that's such a great way to do it. Because I know when I started looking at who is my ideal client, I was like, well, her, and you start like trying to figure out which one, but you can create out of piling those people together all the values, and then you speak to that one person that you created on all your social media, and that's how you start attracting it. But I love how you broke that down, of the different values of the people that bring you joy and you love working with, because that's who we want to work with. And all the guests who don't fit into that, it's okay, because something is bringing those pieces together. And just like, I mean, I'm sure everybody. Okay. Did you see that? Sorry, we had a little technical.
Yeah, my screen just froze for a bit, but you're back.
Okay, good. Mine froze too, so I don't know what happened, but technical difficulties. It was only for a blip, and we're back. And I lost my train of thought. That's okay. So I think that really just focusing in on what brings you joy. And that's a beautiful way to create more sustainability. And we're talking more than just your products and just the services in the salon. Sustainability for your clientele and for your business.
For your body.
And your mind.
Yes.
I mean, those things are super important, and we don't give them enough value. We don't really think about the experience, not only for our guests, but for ourselves too.
Yeah, we want to look long-term at what we're doing and how it's affecting the planet. Sure, that's a really important part of sustainability, but looking long-term and how it affects our mind, our spirit, our body, our clients, our retention rate, how we're going to scale, how we're going to grow, all those pieces too definitely tie into that sustainability for me.
Yeah, for me as well. That's a part of the holistic view of it. When we're talking not just your clients or what you want, the holistic view of what actually brings you the most joy in all those areas and tying them together. And it really is the body, the mind, the energy, everything around that. And the beautiful part of all of this is it's ebb and flow. You're able to change and to adapt and to think a little bit outside of the box for what makes you tick and what brings that holistic view into your business, into your life.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So because we are talking sustainability, do you have like what sustainable things are you doing? I know you said the shampoo, like the products, anything else that you're, and the recycle program, because I cannot.
Recycling program. Utilizing that for sure. Yes. I think also just taking a look at other little things, like I think cleaning supplies is huge. We might have even talked about that a little bit on the last one. You finding refillable options, using like paper retail bags instead of plastic is another one, or just asking if they want a bag in general, just like you ask if they want a receipt. I don't have a receipt printer, so they just get it emailed if they want one. So even just like little things like that can create that more sustainable experience. I have at my shampoo bowl, I have the EcoHeads water filter, and that one's really awesome for increasing that water pressure, but using less water. looking at how you are reducing your energy usage. There's a lot of little things that I think can build up to that experience, but just trying to avoid those like just disposable stuff. Even for sometimes I'll give samples to my clients of products for them to kind of try out and see if they like them. And I give them, they are plastic and but they are little like tubs, and you can definitely just like rewash and reuse them. So I say when you're done with the sample, like keep it in your travel bag so that you can use that for, you know, either your face creams or face moisturizer or your liquid shampoos, conditioners, or creams or whatever. So you can take them with you on vacation, or just having that as that, like just giving them ideas of, okay, here's a way you can reuse this. So please don't throw this away, because it's high enough quality where it's something that can be reused and isn't just going to be like really flimsy. Those are just a couple of things that came to the top of my head.
I love that. I actually give samples to my clients as well. And I found little glass jars, the amber ones. And when I priced them out, it honestly was not, I mean, it was like a few cents more than the plastic. So just, it's really looking into those and not falling into the trap of this is what everybody else is doing, so I'm just going to buy the easiest thing, doing that little bit of research. And I give them those glass jar and a little bottle, and those are perfect for travel because they're less than the 2 ounces for, you know, the planes and everything. So thinking about that. And I also give resources for my products that come in glasses. I use them for hand soap or lotion or plants. Like, so I try to give them ideas of how to reuse and recycle them versus just throwing them in the recycle bin.
Totally.
For the product wise.
And that's something, I was just going to say, that's something you can post on your social media on how to reuse those. That's something that you can give as a resource in between visits, like we were talking about. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Just showing them how you can do that. And I do the refill program as well, where if you bring it back into the salon, you can refill it for, and I give like a discount for bringing it back in. So there's so many different things that we can do. There was something. Oh, you said that you don't print receipts. I'm so glad I'm not the only one, because I stopped printing receipts a while ago. Again, not because I don't want to print it, it's because sustainability. If we don't have to have that little paper and it just gets emailed over, it's one thing that makes huge impact in the end. It's that compound effect.
Yeah, and they can print it at home from their email if they really need a paper record. And I kind of have a feeling that would even be better doing it like on printer paper than that receipt paper, because I don't think you can recycle receipt paper. Like, it's got that weird like, film on it. So even if they're doing it at home, it's probably going to be on a more sustainable option, recycling option on that receipt paper.
No, and I agree. So I stopped doing it, and it took a little while for my guests to get on board with that, because I had some that were very particular about wanting the receipt. And I told them, I'm like, look, this is just one way. And I said the same thing, like, if you really need it, you can print it at home. It's easy to print from there. I just am really making that compound effect of not printing here at the salon. And I don't print paper. I really am very specific about what I have to print out. So I don't make brochures anymore. I know that was a huge thing for a long time. I don't print business cards anymore. And that was a little bit of a harder one for me, because when you're out, you want to be able to hand them something. I actually got something called Popple. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. It's not something that I did mild research on it.
Yeah. So I have it. It's this little sticker here. And when I meet with somebody on the phones, you just either tap it if it's newer phones, you tap it and it gives them your information. And if it's not a newer phone, you can pull it up like a QRL code, and they just take their camera and take a picture of it, and it populates everything. And what I realized was, one, sustainability, because we're not printing out paper. Two, how many of you have cards that you've printed out, then changed your information, and you have piles of cards that you spent money on that no longer can be used because the information's not right, or you printed it and it's not the right information, and then that just all goes into the trash. There's nothing we can do about that. So here, you're able to change your information daily if you want to. If you have a whole new service that you want to provide, you can put it on there, and when you're sharing this information, it can come top of mind. So it's been something that I've been playing around with, and it took a little getting used to, because you're used to having the cards. But I never took, I don't like taking business cards from people either. I actually will just snap a picture of it on my phone so that I don't have to have the paper, and they can keep that. And so just those little things. But I love Popple so far, and I've had it for a few months. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think, like you said, not printing brochures anymore. I have been still kind of brainstorming exactly how I want to lay it out, but having that as like a digital option that I can email as like a PDF and stuff. I know some people will have like a hidden web page for their like brochures and their like information that they want to give to people. So those are also like fantastic ideas, just to not have that paper and salon, because one, obviously there's a sustainability aspect to it. If you're going to print, I think there are some types of paper that are better than others. Like if it's something that like your clientele, they're older or whatever, maybe like more old fashioned, they just want that. I lost my train of thought. But essentially, just try to do kind of that digital for the brochures, and kind of laying that out, because I remember where I was going to go with that. The other piece of it too is not even just the sustainability aspect, is with COVID, I think people are less likely to take products and like papers and stuff from you. I think we're kind of like over the like touching of paper things. Like I personally don't think I will ever bring, I kind of already started putting magazines out the door at my studio. That was kind of already not really much of a thing, but I think only digital magazines from here on out, or digital somethings, are really going to be the only options in my salon from here on out.
Yes, I love that. I stopped magazines like so long ago. I still get magazines sent to me that the companies just send. I only have literally one, maybe two clients in my entire salon ever asked me for magazines. So, because so many people are on their phones. So for that, and the phones everybody are using. The other thing I'm bringing on now is individual iPads for each station, because I'm going to start, just because of COVID, like trying not to have so many people up at the register when we're trying to check out. Having that, plus we do a few other things that we really need to have a screen in front of us at the station. So I'm going to do individual iPads where I can do magazines and then hand it to the client, where while they're processing, they can look at this, or I'll have a gallery of here's the styles that we're looking at. So just thinking outside of the box a little bit is really, really, it's just helpful. It also sets you apart, because we're not all doing this. It helps just create that buzz, and it ties into your values, which just solidifies that even more for your guest. And I think that makes a big difference. There was something else that I was going to say. About the paper, because there are certain things that I still have to print for my subscription box, like when I send it out. So I have a company that I have that is all eco-friendly, biodegradable stickers, papers, printing labels, like shipping labels.
Nice.
And the box itself, which is, of course, I can't think of the name, but I'll link it in the bio, because it's really, really cool what they do. Because even my subscription boxes, they're biodegradable, and the ink is like algae ink or something crazy like that, where we're really starting to have more and more options that we can still do some of the traditional things that if we need to print, we can do that, but with way less impact on the earth.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Yeah. You should definitely link that, because that's something I would want to check out too.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. It's so amazing, and they will do stickers and labels and all of these things that can be printed with the algae ink and on biodegradable papers. So it's really made a big difference, and that's due to all the research. But that's where I love the research. So that's why I compile all this, because I'm always looking for new and better ways to do something. So, but keeping everything in mind, because of course we're already at the 45 minutes and this is our second episode. So there's so much in the way we think and the way we do things that I'm sure at some point let's do another one, and we'll just keep going deeper and deeper. Or the other option is, if you're listening to this and there's a specific question that you have, something comes up, something's triggered by this, or something you think of, message us. We'll answer. We want to be there to support you, because this is really important to both of us to share how you can start with sustainability and non-toxic and create that holistic view in your salon. Because the more and more we do this, the more we're standing up for the earth, for ourselves as hairstylists, and for our guests. And we're starting to stand up together and demand change in the bigger companies. And when we start looking into these things, if we band together, I feel like, for me personally, I think that these bigger companies are going to be forced to start thinking of some of those things, because we're coming together and standing for something that we care about, which is sustainability and non-toxic, because we don't have to do it the way we've always done it. There are better ways. And that's why I love having this conversation with you, because we're sticking together and we're starting to create lasting change.
Yes, so. I love it.
I do too. And I always love talking to you and having you on the show. So I appreciate your time and your knowledge and all the amazing things that you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. I also ditto, right back at you.
That's why we do this together. And, for anyone listening, if you want to be a part of this movement, reach out to me, reach out to Annissa, so that we can start supporting you as well. This is a part of a bigger movement than just getting your business out there. This is lasting change. At least that's where my mission is today. And I'm only going crazier and deeper into this. So it's only going to get more fun. But thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for watching and listening. Catch me next week for another episode. And remember, reach out to us. You can find us all on Facebook, Instagram. What is your handle again?
On Instagram, it's Hair by Annissa.
Hair by Annissa. And then Facebook?
Think about that. Annissa at Edit Hair Studio. That one's definitely geared more towards clients, but if you like to see how I set my page up for that, feel free to check it out.
Beautiful. Yes. And same with mine. I'll have everything linked. You can always find me at Jacqueline Rodriguez Intuitive on Facebook and Instagram. And then the salon is Enlightened Styles. So you can kind of take a look at both of those. But the main thing is reach out. We're here. We're real humans. We like to talk and create that dialogue. So thank you again. And I will see you next week.